if you want to get out from, like, if you want to break through, if you want to go from this level to that level, you can't be like, okay, I'm just gonna dip my toes in the water. I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna see it. I'm just gonna play around. I'm just gonna do. That's typical. That's average, man.
What's the journey, man? What's the journey? How can you replicate it? How can you apply some of those principles and ideas?
The number one thing that I can sincerely say that absolutely changed everything, I worked on myself first, period.
So here's the formula. Learn something new, and then do it and implement it.
Against all odds, right? Against, everything, they persevered.
I didn't have to be that smart guy that's gonna go out and create all this tech stuff.
I had found all of these other hidden loopholes within the eBay system, like alternative ways to make money on eBay.
And they did it in this industry. They did it in online marketing. Hey everybody, Vick Strizheus here, and welcome to The Journey, episode number 8. Excited to be back with you guys. How are you today? You guys hear me okay? We have a live people in the room here. My goodness, we have all of you guys here on a fire. Wow. Hello. What's up, 4% family? What's up, everybody? Good to be back with you guys here. Another episode, okay? Every Thursday, every week. Whether it's raining, whether it's snowing. It's raining today, by the way, here in the outside of the studios. But every week we get together and we talk about ideas, we talk about strategies, we talk about nuggets, we talk about things that move the needle for us entrepreneurs, right? And what's really cool about, and what I'm really excited about today is, I get to be the host of The Journey, right? And I know one of the things that I really enjoy, as being a host of The Journey is be able to look at different angles, of different people that we have on here. We had people who were 8-figure a year income earners. I mean, guys who, literally pulling in $10 million plus, right, per year as internet marketer. We had people who, are 7-figure a year income earners, millionaires, right? We have people who just starting to break through, right? And so we have different, perspectives from different people, right? That's really exciting. What I'm very excited about today is I invited somebody who is yet is going to bring a little bit of a different, yet another angle, right? Another side to this entrepreneurial journey, a little bit different side of things. And this guy has been an insider, right? This guy has seen literally companies go from an idea to blossom into a multi-million dollar organization and company and evolve into something incredible. He has seen the challenges, he has seen the ups, the downs, he has seen the ups and downs in his personal life, in his business, in his career, and somebody who was just an average, ordinary Joe. Hey, isn't it the case with every one of us? We all start out and we all have very similar beginnings, which most of us, we start out broke, we start out scared, right? We start out, going to this unknown territory with maybe a little bit of a fear inside of us. Will this work? Will this online marketing thing, will this work? This affiliate marketing thing, will this work? And we all start out with no list, no knowledge, but some of us go out there and we crush it. Some people fade away. What's the difference? What's the journey? What moves the needle for one guy, right? And what works and what doesn't work. So you guys, look, we're gonna get straight into it. I want to dive deep into this episode. I don't know how long it's gonna be. None of our episodes are structured or like scripted. We don't use scripts here. We just go and being totally raw, totally uncut. It's a real conversation. The guests that I'm bringing on the journey here, they have no idea what I'm gonna ask them. They have no idea where the conversation is gonna go. Unlike these typical, preset, rehearsed, presentations or interviews, right? There are people like pretending to be real and raw, but they like rehearse their answers many times. We don't do that game here. We're just being totally, we just let the cameras roll and we talk. And all of us, all of our guests understand that, and that's what makes it unique, I think. That's what makes that energy when you're watching this, you can feel it, it's real, it's raw. So everybody, look, I want you to welcome this one person that many of you guys, if you're in the 4% group, you probably have seen this guy, you probably have seen his name, maybe on multiple occasions, right? And that is this fine gentleman right over here, Mr. Paul. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing awesome, brother.
Good to have you here, man. Good to have you. I know you're no stranger to the 4% group members, and I wanted to invite you. I literally invited you today to the show because I said, look, man, you bring a different angle. You bring a different angle to the whole journey, right? Because you are somebody who came in to this whole online marketing ventures, being totally outside of completely. What was your background? I think you were working in construction or something like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was a construction worker. My father instilled in me, to work hard, man. You got to work hard for every dollar.
Yeah. So I want to get into that. I want to get your perspective. Your ideas, some of the breakthroughs that you took for yourself by being an insider. I want to dig into some of the lessons that you have learned, because we all done crazy things in our businesses, in our lives, in our journeys to things like squandering opportunities, perhaps things like not acting on opportunities when we should act, and perhaps many more things, right? That I want to dig into that kind of stuff, and I want to also I want to see if I can pull some ideas from you that. Because you are heading our support department here in the 4% group. And so what you bring to the table is you get to work with a lot of people on a daily basis, literally thousands of people, right? And so what you guys are seeing out there, I want to dig into that. And so if you can bring perspectives of what you guys are seeing out there, people who are crushing it versus people who are not doing so well, perhaps, right? What is the difference in your opinion? What are the... there's a saying, something goes like, if you want to get the good answer, you want to ask the right kind of question, right? That applies not only to the support, right? But it also applies to life and business in general and everything you do. So I want to talk about that. But before we get started, man, who is Paul Dude? What are you single, married? Give us a snapshot of who you are today. What it is that you're doing.
Well, hey, it's awesome to be here, guys. I'm so pumped, excited to share my quick journey here, working with Vic for, it's about 7 years plus, actually. It's more than 7 years. But who is Paul, really? I am married, I have a wife. I have beautiful three children, 2 girls and a boy. And, growing up in a family, a loving family, we had our, 7 children. I'm second oldest. My father really instilled in me, and like, dude, son, you got to work hard. You got to work hard for every single dollar of yours. You got to sweat for your money, man. So I'm like, all right. So I went out there, got my degrees, different industries. One of them was obviously, excavator. I was an excavator. I was a truck driver. I've done a lot of construction. And so, but, working hard, when I was working hard at about age 17, 18, dude, I'm like realizing, man, I don't know how long this is going to last. It's hitting me hard on my health. You got to work hard, right? That was my mentality. And so I would walk into my boss's office and he would be in the suit, sitting by a computer and just talking to people, giving people instructions. I'm like, dude, how can he does this? Right? So I got this idea in me. I'm like, there's got to be a way for me to work smart. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to go out there and really and sweat. And I know a lot of you guys experience this right now. But, I got that idea. And so I would come home and I would argue with my dad. I'd be like, Dad, there's got to be a way to work hard. There's got to be a way, there's got to be a way for you to really work smart. You don't have to work hard. And I would be the only one in our family that would really, and talk about this. And so one day I get this, privilege to meet this guy, Vic, and man, everything just changed when you take that opportunity in front of you, when you meet someone who actually works smart, intelligent, and works online, right? Puts in the keywords.
So yeah, I want to dig into that. I want to dig into that story, and I want to get into the details. And I know we can go. We can spend like an all night here, talking about just great, golden nugget ideas. We have 2 groups of people watching this, right? So there's one group of people that are the 4% members, and people that you get to work with on a daily basis all the time. But we also have another group of people watching this that might not be a member of the 4%, which is totally cool. Although we will invite you later on, at the end of this, to give you that opportunity. But look, the purpose of the show is to deliver some tangible, actionable golden nuggets and those ideas that are actionable ideas, that you can apply in your business. And Paul, so I want to get into your story here in a moment, but you, coming from that background, you know what it's also like to be in a really, 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 really good financial position, and everything in between. And you know what it's like to make mistakes. You know what it's like to do things that maybe if you could go back, you could do things a little bit differently. You have seen a lot, right? As a third-party person, so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. And I know you have a lot that you can share with people who are perhaps just getting started. Some of the lessons that, here's what we're going to talk about. If you could go back, seeing what you have seen over the last 7 years, right? And if you have a son, right? How old is your son?
10 months.
10 months. Okay, let's pretend your son is 19 years old, 21 years old, right? And you have this background right now, being in this industry. Knowing what you know, if your son would say, Dad, what's your best advice that you could give me for me to succeed based on your experience over the years? This is what I want you to have in the back of your mind as you share some of the ideas that you're going to share. Oh, is that cool?
Yep.
So look, take me back. I know a lot about your story because you and I, we go back 7 years. This is how we met. Tell everybody how you came up, how you came into the internet marketing industry. That little transition. What hooked you on the idea of being an internet entrepreneur? Because you came in like this. You came in very skeptical. I remember this as like it was yesterday. And but you were like a kid in a candy store. You were like, man, this is something different. So walk me through that experience. Tell everybody how that happened.
So basically, so I got that idea, right? I got that idea as like, there's got to be a way to work smart. You don't have to work hard. And so, fast forward, we had we got married, my wife and I, and so she had this passion for nursing. And so we moved to South Dakota. And I always have that dream. So golden nugget number one, always have a dream for yourself, right? Always have a dream of, whatever that is that you want. I always have that dream of, hey, you can work smart. You don't have to work hard. You can work online. Literally, you can work online and make money. So number one is have a dream for some sort. My dream was, hey, I want financial independence for my family, for my wife. She had a passion for nursing. So fast forward, we moved to South Dakota. And so I meet this guy, Vick. Actually, we met at a great place at the church, right? And so I meet him and he's like, hey man, do you want to, he's a very inviting person, as you guys can tell. He invites me to his house. We come into his house, his wife just cooks up a nice meal. You come in there, it smells nice. He's got the tea going. And so we sit down and we have a, brief chat. And the first question, like a lot of us guys, we tend to ask, like, hey man, what do you do? What do you do? And he's like, well, I just work online. That's it. That was the answer. And tip number two, if you want something, do whatever you can. If you meet someone who is at a specific level and you see them, succeeding, do whatever you can to get around that person. If it costs money to meet that person, do whatever you can to meet that person, right? So he just says, well, I just work online. And I'm like, well, I have an option to, kind of like sit down and be like, all right, cool, man. You work online. Great. So I start digging in. I'm like, what do you mean? So you actually make money online? He's like, yeah, man, that's it. I'm like, so how do you do it? So he goes into a quick story. You take a product on ClickBank. We all know, you take a product on ClickBank, you send it out to this email list, and then you just make money. I'm like, really? It's that simple? He's like, yeah, man, it's almost like a 3-step process. So he's like, I'm like, hey, can you show me specifically, right? Because I'm like this. I'm like, really? You make money online, taking this, putting it here, and you're making money? Like, yeah, man. Like, do you mind sharing me some of the things you're doing? And so he's like, yeah, man, we can do it. He grabs his laptop. We go sit down on the couch, and I sit right next to him. And he's like, literally right in front of me, he's like, go here and open a ClickBank account. I'm like, all right, 2 minutes, boom, I fill it out, done. Next thing, he's like, all right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go pick a product here. And he's literally sitting there and typing this stuff out, and I'm right next to him. and he's starting to, sweat because so much pressure on him. I'm next to him. He's starting to, I wouldn't say like nervousness, but the pressure when you put, around someone. And he's literally right in front of me, putting it out there. Goes to ClickBank, picks out a product, sends it out to his email list of, I think it was like 1,200 people. And then he's like, yeah, man, let's go drink some tea. I'm like, that's it? He's like, yeah, man, it was it. That's it. So tip number 2 again, do whatever you can to be around that person that has whatever you don't have, whatever it takes. So I started literally poking around this guy all evening long, and we left it up right there, and we went on to drink some tea. He's like, look, now what you do, you go back home. It was about 11, 12, midnight. He's like, you go back home and check your ClickBank account. So I went back home, anxiousness kicks in me. I'm like driving my little, we had a tough time back then. We were driving a Honda Civic. I had a little kiddo right with me, my wife, 2-door Civic. We were just driving. I was so excited I'm like, dude, I found my golden bar, my golden opportunity to really learn from someone who's actually making a lot of money. So we come back home, and I anxiously open my little laptop, and I look in there, and there's like $500, literally in three hours of time, 3 to 4 hours of time. I'm like, oh my God, this is for real. But I was so skeptical back then. I was like sitting on the side. I'm like, dude, is this scam? Is this real? Are you serious? You can literally punch in a couple keywords right in front of me. You can't fake that. And and I'm like, this is $500, man. I have to work a week back in a day to make that much money. So right there, I'm like, I go to sleep. I wake up 6, 7 in the morning. I'm like, check right back into it. There's $1,200. An hour or 2, 3 later, it's $1,300. I'm like, dude, this is unreal. So the same day, I go back to him. I'm like, dude, what do you do, man? Tell me. What do you do online? This is unbelievable. Literally, within less than 10 hours, I just made $1,200. But I was so skeptical back then. I couldn't stop being skeptical. I'm like, all right, man, let's see what happens tomorrow. So the next day, $800. A day after that, $500. So it just kind of trickled down. I was still skeptical. I'm like, dude, this has got to be some shady, man. There's got to be something to it. So then 2 weeks later, I get a big, awesome check for about $2,500. I get that check, and I'm like, all right, man, let's go to the bank. I really want to see this thing to be true and real.
So at this time, are you still thinking in the back of your mind that maybe this is just numbers on a screen and whatever, it's not real? Is that really you still have that mindset at this moment?
At that moment, man,
at that moment,
yes.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was so skeptical. I could not believe it. You can literally sit right in front of me. You cannot fake that. Right? You can see. I can see right in. You sit down right in front of me. You do all of this. I was so skeptical. Here's the reason why. Again, this is my perspective from it. I was so conditioned. And tip number 3, guys, I want to give you is really protect your heart. There's a very smart man who lived back in the day. He said, protect your heart with everything that you own. And here's what I mean by that. You got to protect what you see. You got to protect what you watch. And here's the reason why. Because we got so much negativity around us, and I was around that negativity myself, and I did not protect myself. Literally, I went out there, I watched, constant negative news, CNN, and then other things, and other networks, and then, I'm not a big, movie guy, but I would sneak in a movie or two. But, you have so much negativity around you that you are literally inside. You're built on the negativity. And then once I met this guy, Vick, who's a millionaire, who's a humble guy, you would never say that this guy is a millionaire. He invites you to his house. He sits down right in front of you, and he just punches, 20 minutes worth of work. And next day I make $1,200, and then it trickles down, like I said. So tip number 3, guys, really protect your mind with everything that you can. Walk away from negativity and plug into positivity. One of the first books I read was Slight Edge, right? Think and Grow Rich. That really propelled me. Obviously, that was your recommendations. But yeah, man, back then, I'm still with the check. I'm going to the bank, and I'm like, this has got to be real. I hope this is. I deposit the check, and then next day, I see the balance in there, and I'm like, that's it. That's the guy I want to follow. Whatever it takes, I want to follow this guy because you cannot fake the numbers. You cannot fake the stuff that's in the bank.
And then you become a converted, enthusiastic one-apreneur this time.
That's it, man. That's it. And I just soaked in everything that you provided to me, you know?
Yeah. So but there's so much I want to get out from this interview here today, because I know I always do these from a perspective of a complete beginner, right? So from a beginner, but also keep in mind that, you know, if you're an advanced entrepreneur right now, you know, maybe you're an advanced marketer, or maybe you're a super promoter, right? What are some of the ideas that you can take and implement to your business, and that can produce tangible, predictable, you know, actual result for you? Okay, so this is not just talk and you know, and stories here. There's a lot of embedded lessons here that are going to be worth, you know, many perhaps many thousands and maybe even millions of dollars here for you in the business. Paul, you mentioned something about, you know, working hard. You did not want to work hard. You wanted to work smart. We do work really hard, as you know, right? Over here, but it's a different, you know, a little bit of a different type of work. I want to bounce back and forth on that type of an idea as well. But you also mentioned something about, you know, I made it seem like it was so simple. Wrote an email to a segment of a very tiny list, because I did not want to, you know, do a promotion to the entire list, obviously. So I just pulled out a segment of about 1,200, 1,300 people at that time. I think it was a really small list, and I wrote an email. And that's how all that money came in, is a result of sales coming in, right? So right. I do want to give you guys, you know, you're watching this, I want to tell you how that's possible. It's not as, it seems simple and easy, okay? It's actually simple, but it's not easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing that every single second of the day, right? But it's possible for everybody, so I want to talk about that a little bit as well. So Paul, what happens at this time? So you got the check, you deposit the check, you know, what happened next?
Well, after that, obviously, I was still looking for for work, but I was so ignited by the idea that you can literally work online. And just like you mentioned, obviously, there was work that you put in prior to that in order to get the result that you got for me, right? But the idea itself that you can actually work smart, you don't have to work physically outside of the, you know, building, let's say, right. You know, hard. And so after that, once I got that check, I'm like, hey, I want to follow this guy. I want to follow this guy as much as I can and get as close to this guy as I possibly can. Next day, I just went on, you know, about my business, so to speak. I went out and started looking for work. I found myself a job that was paying me about $13 an hour. Obviously, I couldn't do that because I had loans, I had debt. So I said no to that. And then thankfully, a week after that, you're like, hey, man, you want to come work with me? I'm like, sure, let's do it. Let's game. I mean, I was willing to do whatever it takes to learn from the guy who was getting the results that he was getting. I was sold.
Yeah, and I remember you came in as just helping out with support, because I was getting, this was like, you guys, you gotta you know, picture this. This is we'll go back about 7 years, right? At the time I was doing this interview right now, obviously, so 7 years ago, right? I was that was, I think, do you remember? I was promoting stuff on ClickBank. You know, I was promoting other people's products. You know, we started to venture out into creating our own trainings, our own coaching, you know, programs and that kind of stuff. So I was like getting bombarded with you know, emails and support emails, and because everything we do, here's a side note here for you guys. So we're just gonna go back and forth, Paul, with you here, and just kind of bounce ideas back and forth, because I know, you know, obviously you're, you know, head of the support here, and which, by the way, you guys are 4%ers here. Yeah, just a little side note, I've gotta plug this in, because this is so huge. You guys, look, the dedication, right, to have the right people on board. Okay, we are under an hour. I think it's 0.94 or 0.92 or something like that, right, Paul? Under an hour for a 30-day average support reply time for the support tickets. Okay, 30 days, including weekends, including nights, holidays, everything. It's a 30-day average, under an hour. Yes, Paul, thank you, man. Thank you for that. You guys are awesome. You guys support people from the 4%. You're watching this. Perhaps you guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are awesome, and I'm very proud of that. There is no other company, to my knowledge, that online that has a support average response time, 30-day average, to be less than an hour. Heck, I don't even know any company that's less than like 2 hours. Okay, so we're definitely doing something right here, and I'm just pumped about that. I think it's a big deal. All right, so look, side note, right? Side note. When I was promoting other people's programs, right, other people's stuff, and you might be an affiliate, right? You might be promoting this as an affiliate. Let me I'll go full screen. So whatever, anything that I was promoting at that time, it was not, I did not have to create products initially. Okay, initially I was just starting out as an affiliate, promoting somebody else's product that somebody else delivered, somebody else created, somebody else serviced. Right? And I was just like an affiliate, which is a lot of you guys are, right? Just promoting as an affiliate. But I always did this one thing, which is building a tribe, building a community-like, right, environment around what I was doing, around the products that I was promoting. So huge idea for you. If you're an affiliate, right, if you're promoting somebody else's stuff, which is great, you can make millions of dollars doing it. Always think, how can you create a group? How can you create a sense of a team? A sense of us. You know what I mean? If you can, nobody cares about you. Okay, nobody cares about me as an individual. Okay, like you could probably care less about me, but here's the thing: I bet you care about if you are a part of a group, if you're on the team, right? You care about the team. So it's if you can, anytime when you can create an us environment and a sense of us in your marketing, right, you will always go a lot further than your competition. So this is what I was doing, and this is why we had our own support. Even as an affiliate, right, I provided my own support to people that I serviced, to people who were on my list when they replied back to the emails. Initially, I was doing everything myself, and then I needed help, and then this guy shows up, Paul, and I'm like, hey man, you're so eager, and he's like, man, I want to do this. This is it, man. This is it. I want to do this, and he comes, and he shows up again and again. He's like, dude, I really want to do this. And I was like, I did not, Paul, I think if I recall this correctly, I did not give you all the details, all the information and try to recruit you. I was actually pulling back a little bit, right? And the more I pulled back, the more aggressive you became in pursuing, your dream that you wanted to work online and you wanted to start this career online. Another big tip for you guys, okay? Practice reverse psychology, okay? Here's the thing, okay? This goes true for attracting the employees. If you are out there, okay? If you're out there, if you need help, if you're trying to get somebody to work with you, or if you're in desperate need for somebody, whether it's a client, a sale, an employee, or whatever, or money, okay? If you are coming from a position of I really need, this is a position of weakness. Okay, a position of weakness. You want to come from a position of power as much as possible in everything you do. Okay, what's a position of power? You don't push. Okay, you create a pull, which we're going to talk about this a little bit as well. And of course, if you guys are in the 4%, you know a whole lot about creating a pull type approach in your marketing and in your business. It's really stealthy idea, but it's a good one. So, Paul, he's like, dude, I want to do this. So I'm like, I give you a task, right? I'm like, hey, come down here, sit down here, here are the tickets, here are how I answer them. Go do it, right? And you went out, you went at it. What was what was going through your mind? I mean, this is a new territory for you. You've never done anything. Dude, you're coming from construction, and, working at a construction job, driving the Bobcat, right? Why were you so attracted to help out with the support department when you've never done it before? And what was it about you, dude, that I remember I gave you an assignment. I said, hey, here's like 50 or 100 tickets that we need to answer. Here's the first 5 I'm going to answer with you. Just watch me. I didn't even take you through this huge big training or anything. You just literally watched me do this kind of stuff. And you went out there and I said, okay, go do it yourself. And you just picked it up like that. What was it about that? Is that because you're somebody who's like super smart, super special, you got any magical talents or abilities, or what was it, why, walk me through the experience. What was that in your head, or what was it about you that made you just pick that stuff up real quick and run with it?
Well, Definitely smart. I mean, you got to be smart. You know what I mean? You got to put some laughter to it. But the fact that I found someone who is getting the results that he is getting, I was like, dude, I'm gonna do whatever I can to be around this guy. Here's why. Tell me your 5 closest friends who you're friends with, and you will eventually be one of them. Five of your closest friends. Tell me their incomes. Right? I was like, dude, I'm going to do whatever I can. It was a day and a half training that you trained me. It was a day and a half. And he's like, go do it. If you have a question, come back to me. That's it. So I'm like, dude, I did not count hours. I did not count time. If I had to work night, whatever I had to do, I just did it because I knew eventually it will pay off. I knew that it will pay off 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now. It will. Okay? And so I just saw it again. I got that seed. I got the idea in me that, hey, this is the guy I'm going to follow through whatever it is. It was tough times. Sometimes we had tough times. We went through it, and that actually made us better as a company, as a team. That actually made us better of who we are today.
Talk about this. I want to shift gears here a little bit because you saw literally the unfoldment of the projects that we did, going back 7 years ago. How we did things, right? What were some of the ideas, or what were some of the things? And I don't think I've ever asked you this question before. What were some of the ideas that you like? Maybe some of the lessons that you took for yourself. You're like, wow, that's really neat, or wow, I think I should, I think that's a good idea, or that's a bad idea. Like, do you recall, like, if you could, like sum up some of the biggest breakthroughs or like aha moments for yourself? Again, at this time, you're starting out as a support person, okay, and then and you're watching the company scale. You kind of being in the trenches there, and you don't really know all the marketing, marketing strategies. You don't really understand how to market yet at this time. You're dealing with people. You're answering tickets, right, based on what the company is doing. As an outsider at this time, kind of watching, the projects, right, watching us doing promotions, were there any aha moments that, maybe sparked that idea? Because I remember one time you coming to me and you're like, hey, dude, there's this one company that's launching out, paying out 100% commissions, and I think you should get it. I'm like, dude, I don't understand it. How can a company pay out 100% commissions and be in business? I don't get it. So I was just blowing you off. Right, but you kept coming back, and eventually, when we joined that company, you ended up making $1 million or something like that, right? So yep. It was being in the right place at the right time. A lot of it had to do with that, right? But prior to that, you watched the campaigns, you watched the promotion. Was there anything that what were some of your aha moments?
Well, to answer your first question, I think one of the first things that jumps out about you is your love and your care for people. That's the first thing that comes, to my mind, watching you in the background in trenches where people actually don't see, right?
Yeah.
Your love and your care for people. And this is true, guys. I don't know, whatever you guys say there in chat, I don't see that right now. But the love and care for people. Whereas here's an example. Vick can literally take his list and just blast out an email and make $10,000 today. No, he doesn't do that. He goes out there, hires a programmer, hires a designer, creates a website. He doesn't have to do that. And I'm like, dude, why are you doing this, man? What's up? He's like, man, I can make money right now. I can make money tomorrow. And I can make money a week from now. What about that new person? What about that first person who's actually coming in? And he doesn't know, he's going to get this product. He's going to get the train. And then what? I want to help that newbie. I want to help that first person to make money, to break through, to succeed. So number one thing that really comes out is the love and the care for people. And then obviously the rewards would follow. But the love and care is the first thing that jumps out about you, man. So talking about, another thing, for example, when that company came around, what I learned about that project, for example, is watching you build that system. And then when people came in on board, different affiliates, different leaders came on board and actually joined the forces, so to speak,
right,
and promote that product. What I've seen people do from that is, here's the tip: if you see a wave coming, if you see something big, something huge coming your way, don't wait for the opportunity. Don't wait for the things to be perfect. Don't wait for things to be, as they say, align. All the stars align. Everything is great. Everything is perfect. And then I'm going to promote. Do whatever you can to do it today. If you see a new launch, if you see a new funnel came out, hit it today. Do it today. Because I've seen people who came in with no experience, with no knowledge. They just took exactly what Vic showed them in the previous companies and obviously the 4% group right now. And they actually just took action. Tip number 3, 4, 5, whatever that number is, take action, do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for the perfect place, for the perfect system. Just do it. Whatever you have in front of you, take it and run with it.
Yeah, remember. So let's talk about this idea, Paul, of a build up to or like a campaign build up to a launch, because you actually watched that whole unfoldment. So you guys, there was this one company, right, that Paul kept bugging me about. He's like, hey, dude, there's one company. We're not going to mention names; it's irrelevant right now. But some of you guys know what that was. This was like what is this, like 2012, end of 2012, actually beginning of 2012, because it took me literally like 8 months. I took like 8 months to research, right? Big tip for you, okay? Never ever promote anything that you don't personally. That you cannot personally endorse with 1,000% confidence, right? So there was this one company that Paul kept bugging me about. He's like, hey, dude, you should look into it. You should look into it. They paying out 100% commissions. Their products are pretty cool. People are buzzing about it. Dude, they got a lot of people, man. They got a lot of leaders jumping on board, and this company is growing. And I kept blowing it off. And then eventually I'm like, I'm gonna take a look at it, right? And so this company, by the time I decide to do my research, right? So these guys have like 300 or so thousand people, like 300,000 affiliates already promoting, right? And a lot of people are making money. It's a new thing. It's a new deal. A lot of people are excited about it, right? And I decided to go and promote it because I took the time, I did my research, I contacted the owners. I'm like, hey, what are you guys all about? How does this work? How does that work? At that time, there was 2 owners of the company. The vision was strong. I resonated with the vision, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get behind it. We're going to build a marketing system around it, and we're going to make it newbie friendly, okay? But I want to validate the concept first on myself before we do that. And so I get in, and Paul, remember what I told you before we started that promotion? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
What did I say?
Dude, we're going to help a lot of people. We're going to change a lot of lives. And in the process, we're going to make a bunch of money, man.
Yeah, and you remember what I said about they had this contest happening, like a $35,000 cash bonus contest, right? And there are 300,000 affiliates promoting it. And 300, I'll be big players are hitting it, right? Big players are all about it. Number 1 spot is going to walk away with $35,000 in cash prize. And we haven't even started promoting that company, but that was like 2 months before the end of the contest, right? And what did I tell you before I entered the company?
That's it, man. That's another thing. Maybe you can talk about that a little later. But it's
a big thing, you guys. Okay. Please don't understand this. Don't watch this from a position. I would much rather not be in the room when this conversation is taking place right now, because we're talking about like what we did and how we've evolved. And Paul, obviously, you watch this whole thing unfolding, and so from your perspective, okay, there is a big lesson, right, in your approach to anything you do, especially in marketing. Go ahead, Paul. What did I tell you?
Yeah, man. Again, that's the last thing I want to do is brag about, but the truth is the truth. I mean, you can't hide the truth. You can't fake the truth. So what you told me is like, look, man, that number one spot is mine. It's mine. And I was like, dude, hold on a second. Let me ask you again. What'd you say? What do you mean? That number 1 spot is mine. That $35,000 cash is mine. I claimed it. It's mine. It's done. And I'm like, dude, are you for real? He's like, yeah. And so here's the thing. A little bit of me, I still had a little bit of a skeptic in me. I'm like, dude, I know there's people that are actually pushing. There's some leaders. There's some big shots in there. They're actually crushing it. Their numbers are very serious. They're solid, right? You know, I mean, and you're coming in, and literally we have a couple weeks, whatever that time was, and you're gonna claim number one spot. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, prove me wrong, man. Prove me wrong. And so we did exactly what we're supposed to do, right? He just went on about his business. He did a webinar or another webinar and another, whatever, however many webinars we had, did his thing, and obviously he proved me wrong. So from that point on, I don't doubt this guy. I don't know how, Vic, maybe you can talk about that. How did you become that confident person? Not cocky, but, you know, confident in your craft, in the thing that you're actually, hey, if you said you're going to do it, it's done, whatever it takes.
Are we like turning tables on the interview right now? You're like
asking
me questions? Okay.
A little bit.
This is a big tip, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Okay, this is a big tip. So, you know, we come into this company, and it just so happened that at that particular time they ran this competition, this contest, right? This contest, $35,000 for the first prize. I don't remember the second prize, third prize, because I didn't pay attention on the second or third or fourth. I set my sights on the first. Okay, here's a big thing for you. Big thing. Okay, if you want to win big in business, if you want to win big in marketing, okay, hear me close. Okay, hear me close. You've got to win before you start. Okay, you've got to win in here before you ever win in reality. Okay, because guess what? This right here is reality. If you can win, if you can see yourself winning here, okay, if you can see that whatever that monthly income that you are after, right, whatever it is that you really want, whatever it is that you want to have in life, or you building or working towards, you've got to have it crystal clear in here before you can have it here, you know, in your hand. So it's a lot of people don't get it, and I understand it's a you know, it can be a hard, it's easy to talk about it than to actually practice it, you know. But man, if you guys can just get this, if you can get this one thing, okay, win in your head before you start winning in the checkbook, okay. So for me, there was no doubt, because I practiced this. Not like, okay, I gotta practice. It's just a way of thinking, okay. It's a way of thinking. Whatever, if you look at a contest, if you look at a competition, if you look at at your goal, okay, look at your goal. When you write that goal down and you say, okay, I think I can do, you know, 5,000 a month, or 10,000 a month, or 50,000 a month, but I really would like to be at 100,000 a month. That would be like, my goodness, that would be like all dreams coming true, right? Don't settle for what you think you can do. Settle for what you really want, and then backtrack from there with your strategy, okay? Don't settle for second or third best or fourth best, okay? Or I would just want to be in the top 10. If you're going to do anything, okay, you want to be great, you want to be the best at what you do in the area that you can control, okay? So here is an example. How do you apply that in practice, right? Well, all of you are building lists, yes? You're building your list. So take a look at this. Your list, okay, the people that opt into your list, they entered into your world, okay? So now you are, metaphorically speaking of competition, you are competing against all these other marketers out there. Question for you, or challenge for you, how can you win? How can you win, okay? How can you claim that number one spot? So if somebody's on your list, okay? If somebody's on your list, chances are they're probably on multiple marketers' lists as well, okay? Guess what? You don't compete with what other marketers are doing. You literally want to create an environment. Ask yourself this: how can I question, or how do I question? How do I create an environment that is going to be head and shoulders above anything that anybody else can offer to my prospect, to my subscriber, okay? And in doing so, I'm going to create a couple things. Number one, I'm going to serve them more and better than any of my competitor will. Number two, I'm going to build connection, because when it comes time for me to promoting or recommending something, I want to be a person that's going to have some weight and authority in recommending anything that I'm recommending. Okay, so when people are failing, all right, a lot of times people failing because they come from a position of weakness, okay? From a position of desperation, from a position of, I just need to make a sale, not from a position of, I'm just gonna serve this customer the best. I'm just gonna give them the best service, the best ideas. I'm gonna service them better than anybody else that they are, on whose list they might be on. Does that make sense? In that mindset, you don't compete. You don't settle for like, okay, I'm gonna be in the top 10, marketers. Your mindset is, I'm gonna be number 1. You know what I mean? Big lesson for you guys. So what happens is, when you go about building your business from that perspective, you are able to sell without selling, and you don't need a huge list. So the winning, all right, or the success in business, or how much money you can make, right? It doesn't really, it doesn't equal the amount of list or how big your list is, okay? It's going to be in direct proportion to how much relationship, how much authority, how much, it's not even the authority factor, it's how much friendship, how much of that, hey, we feel like we know each other, okay? That type of level, this is huge. This is worth more than any amount of money you can make. This is worth more than anything that you can think of in business. Is that when your people who are on your list, okay, when they feel like they know you, when they feel like, when they see you, they can, they'll be totally comfortable approaching you and hanging out with you and going out for a quick lunch or whatever, right? They would not feel that resistance between them and you. You don't have a competition. You don't compete. You focus on building your world. Is this making sense, everybody? Okay? Connection. Okay? Connection. So how what we're able to do, and like Paul is saying, is do a promotion, and me going to this contest, right? It's a long kind of pre-frame for what I was about to tell you. So how does this work, right? How do you win before you start? Well, you win before you start by doing certain things in a certain way. Some of the things that I just explained to you over the last few minutes, right? Preparing your big win. Okay, it's preparing. So this way, my overnight success, right, or my just coming out of nowhere into this company, joining this company, okay, I was not a big shot in the marketplace. I was just focusing on doing my little thing. I was just servicing my list, and I didn't have a huge list at that time. I was just like doing my own thing, man. I was not speaking on stages. I was not flying out, all over the world. I was just this affiliate, But because I was servicing my list, right, in a way that created bond and trust and relationship, and it was genuine, and it was genuine for me. It was genuine for my people. And I had and I wanted to deliver the best for my people that I possibly could. That allowed me to position myself so that when that contest came about, I'm like, dude, this spot is mine. Not because in my magical super abilities to do like magical things overnight, but it's because of the work that I've put in over the last several years, building up to the place to where if I wanted to win a contest, because I can recommend something and I have that trust with people, right? And people know that whatever it is that I recommend, it will be good for them, and I will not recommend anything that I would not personally do, right? Or believe in. Then people don't even question it, okay? People go. And so that's why I was able to say what I said to you, Paul, is like, dude, that number 1 spot is mine. We're taking it. Because I was confident in the relationship that I had with my list. So question for you, okay? How confident are you in the relationship that you might have with your list? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the level of confidence that you have with your list? That if you recommend something, will they trust you? Okay, so if you're watching this and you're somebody who is just like always pushing, your confidence is probably going to be very low, because your results can show. Your open rates are very low, your engagement rate is very low. If you were to do a webinar, how many people will show up? If you say, okay, I'm going to be here, and we're going to do this live event or whatever, how many people show up? That's a good indicator. How do you do that? Well, you do that by servicing people. And again, we get into the trainings on this kind of stuff. This ideas is what we're after here, you guys. Make sense? Ideas. All right. So Paul, where were we, man? Let's see. Diamond. I'm looking at some comments here. Diamond gem number 7. Serve. That's it. Okay. That's it. So Paul, look, we do this promotion, right? And we do a webinar. we invite, we invite like 1,000 people, what is it, just over 1,000 people to the webinar. We do this as like an NDA webinar, and we set the world record, right, for the amount of income that generated. But because you were the guy that recommended that company to me, and you were like literally bugging me about that for months and months and months, because I joined under your recommendation, and the way that particular company's compensation plan was structured, you had some pass-ups, the way the comp plan worked, you made a few bucks, didn't you?
I did, and I was very pleased and thankful.
Yeah. And I mean, for full transparency, I mean, you made what, or about $1 million or so, right? From being in the right place at the right time. So what was I telling you from the very beginning that you did not do? Let's just get super real here, man, because I know we squander opportunities, all the time when we get comfortable, right? What happened? Talk about it.
So from the beginning, and this is a tip for everyone who's watching, obviously new and advanced, you got to work hard on you. Work on you. Put in the time to work on you. Work on yourself harder than you do on your business. Literally. Every time I see you, every time you drive, and this is a lesson that I took for myself, these headphones, they don't come off your ears, man. Every time you drive somewhere, you're always listening to a book. You're always listening to an interview. You always do this stuff. And so this is that approach that I took for myself, is you always got to work on yourself. But again, obviously, I'm coming from the background of, I wouldn't say like a negative family, but your friends, your surroundings, the people that are around you, they're talking about the news and the latest and the greatest and all what's going on. But then when I came around you, I'm like, I got to do this, man. But then that took a while for me to really sink in and to take on for myself. Nowadays, right now, I'm listening to a book, How to Craft a Story, So, I mean, there's a lot of lessons that I can go into, but that's one of the first things that I would highly recommend every single one of you guys watching this is work harder on yourself than you do on your business, than you do on your job, whatever that would be. Work hard on you, develop you, put in the time and work to develop your mind, your thoughts, your eyes, whatever you're watching. Be careful. Build you first thing first.
What about business side of things?
From a business side of things, number one tip that I took away from you is, like you said, is build relationships with people. Back in the day, right, 5-6 years ago, was very hot, very attractive way of marketing is through solo ads. But then those solo ads, when people contact their list, they use fake names, customer support, urgent, coming into your inboxes. And that was very hot, very attractive.
Yeah.
And you told me from the get-go, it's like, Paul, put in your first name. 5, 6, 7 years ago, put in your first name in your email, build that relationship, build your tribe, man. Do it, put in the time. But then all of these guys, they're like bombard you. Hey, man, let's swap. Let's do a swap. You contact your list, I contact your list. You promote my promotion, I promote your promotion to my list. We just swap. We just generate, clicks, and that was it. But from the beginning, you always preached the truth, right? And you said, look, you got to provide value. You got to build a relationship with people. Because it's not about the numbers. It's not about the clicks. It's all about the lives that you can impact. Every single click is a life. Every single click is a family. They're hungry. They want to get that financial freedom that you want to promise them. Don't treat them just a number. Don't treat them just a click. Look at them as a family, as a soul, as a being, and provide value. Give them a nugget. Provide 6, 7 good stuff, and then, promote a product that's actually valuable, that's going to provide value. Do something good for the community. That was the business side of things. And then obviously, focus on traffic. That would be another tip. Obviously right now it's very still lucrative way of driving traffic is solo ads. Another highly recommended, tip I'll give you, every single one of you guys watching this is, build connections with people. When you guys see, big marketers, get around them, find out how they actually build their list, right? There's people out there in different groups. They all promote solo ads. Don't just go out there and just buy solo ad. Talk to them on Facebook. I talk about this, in our 4% group. Build a connection with that vendor. Weed them out. Ask them a bunch of questions. Talk to them before you before you buy a solo ad from them. Ask them, hey, how did you build that list? How long you been in the game? What's your open rates? Can you send my email copy to your list? So you don't send, hey, click on this link, I'll give you an iPad tomorrow. So those people don't see that kind of message. Make sure they actually see that message from you that you want to, for them to see. That's actually a very good promotion here that's going on. So really build relationships with people, connect, go to events. We have an event coming up here, and we'll have a 4% event. Make sure every single one of you guys watching this, you be at that event. I want to shake your hand myself, take a picture with you guys, with Vic. There's going to be so many leaders that you can learn from. Be at the upcoming event. Highly, highly recommend you guys do that. That's one of the tips I took away from Vic, and every single leader that you can talk to is that would all highly recommend you guys get to the event. Whatever the company you're in, either you're in network marketing, MLM, whatever the business is, if they have an event, get to the event. Be there, be square, do whatever it takes to be at the event.
So yeah, great stuff, man. Great. You guys getting the ideas here, right? I always say this one thing, it's look, you don't need a lot of strategies. All you need sometimes is just one idea that's good that you can act on, and that one idea can make you a millionaire. Okay, just one idea. So hopefully you're picking up a few of these ideas here. Paul, I want to talk to you about this this idea of and this is a thing that we all do. At one point in time, until we learn the lesson. And that is when we get comfortable, right? We tend to kind of let go a little bit, right? We tend to not pursue what we initially wanted to pursue because we're comfortable and especially financially. Okay, and ever since the beginning, you remember what I was telling you about business and about marketing, about like when the money is coming in, what to do. Talk about that, because I think there is a lesson for a lot of people watching this, right? Because they might be like, okay, they just had a huge avalanche of maybe they ran a campaign and it just did incredibly well, and people get lazy, okay, or people get people get comfortable, quote unquote comfortable. And is that a good thing or a bad thing, man?
Well, I mean, it's a good thing to have a lot of money coming in, right? Yeah. And then you just relax, you just let go of throttle. Hey, everything is great, everything is beautiful, and you just relax. So one of the tips that I really hold on to is, hey, if you're making that money, put it aside, make sure your bank account is zero, and go back to work on more. Ignite that passion. Really get inside of you, like, what is this all about? What is it about that's going to drive you, right? How many people can we impact? How many people can we actually help? And so another thing that I took away from myself is building your own collage. Like, what really inspires you? What do you want in life? I remember one of the stories, I actually came into your office and you pulled out one of the drawers, and it was unexpected, right? And you pulled out this sheet of paper, and on that sheet of paper, you actually wrote down step by step exactly of what you wanted. I want to impact 10,000 people in my tribe, in my whatever the company that we had. I want to impact 10,000 people. I want to make sure that our conversions are this. We have this many members. I drive this much traffic, and then obviously you had your personal stuff. It's like, look, man, a year later, every single thing that I have on this list actually came true.
Yeah.
So what that reminds me again is you got to know specifically and rehearse this. Remind yourself specifically, what do you want? What it is that thing that you want, and really ignite that passion, because sometimes you let go, and it becomes very comfortable, and that's the tips, man.
Wake up every day as if you have zero, as if you're starting out from scratch. Wake up every day hungry, man. Wake up doesn't matter how much money you got in a bank account. Doesn't matter. If you're watching this, you might be, dude, I'm already hungry, man. Every day I wake up. That's good. Okay, you will get to the point. Trust me. You'll get to the point to where you will, if you follow, especially if you're a 4%er, you will get to the point, if you follow the plan, if you play your cards right, as I like to say, right? You will get to the point to where you will become very, very comfortable financially. And that's when you need to be extra careful, okay? Because you might be waking up and you're like, well, I don't feel like doing anything today. I don't feel like serving anymore. I don't feel, because you're comfortable. Here's a big tip. Wake up every day, no matter how much money you've got in the bank, no matter how successful you may be, okay? Every day, you're hungry. Every day you're starting from scratch. Every day you're starting from zero. That's your mindset. Okay. And if you can say, if you can wake up every day, as far as you're concerned, you gotta create. You've gotta do things that will make you worthy of the success that you desire. Because success doesn't just come to you, right? We work for it. But if you do this, if you apply this every single day in your business, you will never ever have to worry about not being comfortable, okay, in your business. Paul, here's what I want to ask you, man, before we wrap up, and then I got a couple announcements for you guys, 4%ers here. So, you watched us launch out ideas. You watched us literally, brainstorming and just coming out with idea, and turning that idea into something, huge, right? You watched us, create, campaigns that went from literally an idea, a zero, to, impacting millions of people and generating, tons of money coming in, helping a lot of people make a lot of money. You deal with people all the time on a daily basis with your team there in support. What do you see? What is the common denominator that people who are crushing it have versus those who are perhaps struggling have? I know there is a common denominator between those two groups, okay? And you guys deal with people all day long, by the thousands. And so talk to me a little bit about that, because that's an important thing for everybody to understand, is those common denominators for success and failure.
Well, I mean, we can talk about this for a long time. Here's a few things that I found myself. Whenever there's a challenge that a company runs into, a challenge that you might run into yourself, as you like to say, you take that lemon and you squeeze it and you make a lemonade out of it. What I found interesting or inspiring looking at those leaders and the people that actually see a challenge and they actually take that challenge and make the best out of it and then just let go and move on, right? And look at their long-term vision instead of focusing on the thing that's present. Be like, hey, this is just a little thing. That's the thing that I learned from you is, hey, you let go and you move on. You move on. You squeeze that lemon, make that lemonade, and then you move on and you focus. And what I found is interesting again is those people that complain and they find a thing to complain about, they always struggle. It's fascinating. I don't know why, but those people that actually move on and focus on the thing that they actually want to get, they want to accomplish and help those people, they actually tend to succeed and actually get the results that they actually want.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I like to say this to myself all the time, and I said it to myself so many times, dude, that it just became a way of just how I think. That there is never ever a problem. All right, everything happens for the better. And Paul, you heard me say that I don't even know how many times. It doesn't matter what happens. Sometimes we go through crap in life, man. Sometimes we go through, and I shared with you guys my story, right? I mean, some of the stuff that I went through is just ridiculous. I mean, you can make a movie out of it, and it's going to be a pretty interesting one too. But look, everything that happens, you run a campaign and it bombs. You run a campaign and it succeeds. You get a notice in the mail. You get, you whatever whatever the situation might be in business. You might think, oh my goodness, I'm going through some things that I can't even, comprehend how I'm gonna get through it. Look, how you look at the thing is what the thing is going to be like for you. Okay, so my belief system that I've adopted for myself that served me really, really well is that everything happens for the better. Okay, everything happens. You're going through hell. Just go faster. Okay, get through it faster. But remember, you need to go through that. Okay, to help you or craft yourself into somebody that's going to be that much more powerful later on. Okay. Sometimes when we go through struggles and we don't look, none of us want to go through struggles. None of us want to go through ups and downs. We just want to be on the up all the time, right? But it doesn't work like that all the time. Life is all about like this. It's a roller coaster, right? And it's in business. You're making little money, you have little problems. You have more money, you have bigger problems. It's never the challenges are always there. Okay, always there. You look at anybody who is successful, from the Trumps of the world to the Richard Bransons of the world to anybody who is like a mega entrepreneur, right? they all had this stuff going on. Everybody, okay? Online entrepreneurs, myself, you, everybody, okay? We're all going through that. So don't look for the road of least resistance, okay? Don't look for like my life to be perfect all the time. Work on crafting a mindset that would make you unshakable. Like doesn't matter what happens, what hits you, okay? What challenge that might hit you as an entrepreneur, you look at it and you're like, dude, it's for the better. I might not understand why or how this could be for the better, but I just believe that it's for the better. And guess what? You're gonna pass through it, and then you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, you know what, that needed to happen for me to get that much stronger. You know what I mean? And so, Paul, what are your thoughts on that belief system? Because I know initially you're like, dude, you were like panicking out about some things, and then you started to adopt that same belief system. Why?
It transformed my life, my thinking, really. That thinking itself, I mean, we went through hacking of our site. We went through different challenges in life. And I would be like, hey, man, and here's the reason why I, as you say, freaked out, because we have thousands of people behind us, depend on us, right? And so we ran into a challenge. I'm like, hey, man, how do you fix this? What's going on? How do we get this done? He's like, whatever happens, happens for the better. I'm like, all right, man. I'll trust you. I'll trust you on this one. And then eventually it actually proved itself. Here's the thing, guys. If you actually see someone talks about thing and then it actually doesn't propel to itself as the thing that he's suggesting to you, you tend to doubt that person, right? But then this guy tells me, hey, whatever happens, happens for the better. And then it proves itself. And I'm like, I'll trust you. I'll trust you. Whatever happens. And next thing came up, he's like, hey, I come to him and I'm like, hey, we got this, but look, whatever happens, happens for the better. There's a plan for everything. Let's just trust the plan and let's go with the plan. And that's it. Because the plan is the plan to do the plan.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I like that. I like that, man. I like that. Talk about some of the books. Did you like reading? Did you like listening to personal development stuff, mind expansion type, material, or or did you? Is this something that you picked up along the way? I know you listen to stuff all the time right now. Why do you listen to stuff all the time, and what are you listening to, or what are you reading right now?
Yeah, so I come from a background of not liking to read, right? I don't even know why, but I just read Bible. That's it. I still do. I read Bible. And then once I met you, there's a common denominator of, as they say, leaders are readers. It's true. You got to be that person. In order for you to get what you want, right? For that certain level of income you want to get, you want to become that person worthy of that income. You talk about this all the time. And so meeting you and watching your library, come into your house, in your office, you have, all these different products, all these different books, and then you have all these audiobooks. I'm like, there's got to be a reason where he's at, because he actually developed himself. So I took that approach. Yeah, it's difficult to change. That's fine. But then I started buying book after book, book after book. I mean, one of the first things that comes to my mind is The Slight Edge. I love that book. It talks about just the little increments of improvement that can change your life, literally. Obviously, Think and Grow Rich. Zig Ziglar, love his work. Zig Ziglar is awesome. His work, and then obviously Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. Right now, I actually just finished a book about how to craft a story, because I love stories.
What's the name of the book? You recall?
What was that?
What's the name of the book? Do you remember?
I'll tell you. 1 second. The Art of Storytelling by John Walsh. Cool. So that's the book that I just finished, and I want to go through it myself. And then here's another thing. Here was one book that you actually got. I'm like, hey man, I would ask you periodically. I'm like, hey man, what do you listen to? And you're like, oh, I'm listening to this book. And I'm like, again? You're listening to it again? It's like, yeah, this is my fourth time. Yeah. I'm like, why? And the reason for that is you listen to it once. Yep. Some of the things you would lose out on, you listen to second time, it's like, dude, I didn't even realize it. It's there, it's true, and it works. And then third time, and then fourth time. Because see, we can listen to a book because of a book, or we listen for ideas, as you said. We're listening for golden nuggets that you will want to take out for ourselves. So obviously right now, I'm tend to more to listen to as I'm driving, as I'm doing things. But reading is also important, super important. You got to put the time into it.
Awesome. Hey man, so here's what I want to ask you as well. You've seen all the projects that we've done over the last 7 years at the time of us doing this interview, obviously. And so you've seen, a lot of different things that's out there on the internet. You went to a lot of different events, and you've seen a lot. You're being an insider in the 4% group right now. You're one of the people who are on the inside, staff here working with the support. You work with a lot of people. You see what's happening. You see what's out there in the field. You see what the membership, feedback, the response, the questions, the challenges, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, and beautiful, right? What's your perspective? What do you think of the 4% group in general? And this is for the person who might be watching this, and they might not be a member of the 4%, but they might, maybe they have seen it. You totally being, obviously you're biased. You're one of the people here inside of the 4%. But if you would detach yourself, forget me, forget anybody, just pure perspective as a person working with the field, with the membership, with thousands of people every day. What are your thoughts on what we do here?
Well, one of the things I love about is, number one, step by step. I love following steps, specific increments of how to do, what to do in order to achieve a goal that you want to get to, right? And so you simplify that to the point that, as you say, your 10-year-old or 12-year-old son can do it, right? Simplicity as at its best, right? And so the one thing that I literally love about ourselves, about our group here, is that we simplify things. People love it to the point where you take 100%, your program that you're going through right now, 100K Operation 100K, right? And so you simplify it to the point that anybody can take it and just do it. Step by step. Hey, you got to do today. You do this and this and this and this. It's going to get your result. Tomorrow, we're going to focus on this. And so you simplify it to the point that anybody can do it. I think one of the biggest things that this industry lacks is the simplicity. Really, a step-by-step, true, proven system that you can plug into and just get the result.
You watch me do things myself here, being in the trenches, creating the landing pages and brainstorming ideas for landing pages, that kind of stuff, right? What are your thoughts on how we run things here? In terms of, obviously, sometimes we work until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning just creating things. We outsource a lot of things, but some of the key elements we don't outsource. Some of the key activities, such as creating, funnels, converting landing pages, that kind of stuff, we don't outsource, as you know, right? I'm literally there, creating stuff, literally designing and putting out, coming out with ideas and putting it out there on the canvas, and then letting all of our people to use that kind of stuff. You have seen a lot of what's happening out there in the industry. You've been, you belong to a lot of different groups out there. As a member, you constantly learn different things. You constantly buy different products. Contrast-wise, what are your thoughts about that type of attention to details?
Well, I mean, you got number one thing. Here's one thing that I take away of how do you, sometimes I'm just puzzled. How do you get these ideas? How do you get this idea for a landing page, right? We just came out with a new landing page. I'm like, how do you do it? You got to be always aware of your surroundings and always gain ideas, right? You always want to find ideas that you can implement in your business. And so, again, sometimes I'm puzzled at your creativity, but then there's a secret sauce into your creativity that a lot of people don't know, and I'd like to share that, and that is you work out. You work out. Let me take a sip. So you got to take care of your body. You got to take care of your mind. And that, what you take care of, you got to put the seeds into it, and that's going to produce the creativity. You got to work out. You got to take care of your body. You got to let the blood really pump, and that's going to create the creativity that's going to come out. And then the attention to the detail. And again, I'm coming from the background of hard work. I have not seen people work and as dedicated as you are. Obviously, I don't want to brag here, It might sound like, but it's true, man. It's like, it's sometimes I'm just puzzled by the dedication and care for people. That's it. I mean, it's humbling, and at the same time, I feel privileged to be here, to be a part of it, and really see behind the scenes how much actually it takes, the effort, the time, the sacrifice, literally, guys. A lot of you guys don't know this, but he's got 6 kids, a wife that loves attention. The kids want attention, and he just wants to pour his heart out for the project that he's got at hand and just give it to every single one of us, and we can just go and make money. So I am thankful, I am humbled, I'm blessed, and publicly I just want to say thanks, man, for providing and giving us the things that we have, that we can literally take and make the living and provide for our families, provide for the people that are watching here. They can actually plug in and provide for themselves, for their families. I am truly humbled, thankful, and blessed.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that, Paul. Thank you for the for that. I'm obviously I'm excited and fired up and just super feel super blessed to be able to have the people like we have here in the 4% group. We attract people that resonate with the vision, man. That's it. Resonating with the vision is super important. Here's one other thing I wanted to make sure that you guys understand this. You're watching this, right? That you understand. How do you win in here before you can win in your checkbook, right? Or in your result, on the field out there, in the real world. Let's just say it that, right? How do you do that? It's what you focus on and what you develop, okay? So 3 things, okay? 3 things. Number one is this. A lot of people, they want to get so nitty-gritty into marketing, which is needed, okay? But they're focusing on the 80% that might only produce 20%, okay? Or maybe they're focusing on 98% that only might produce 2%, of the results. Marketing is important. If you want to win, okay, and you want to develop that confidence, literally that confidence, and you want to develop the belief system that's going to be unwavering. Like if you set your mind on something, it's already yours. If you want to get whatever it is that you want to get, okay, it's yours. It's just a matter of getting it. Okay, it might be it's just a time. It's just a space between that thing that you want and you. Okay, just go grab it. But that it's yours the minute you decided on it. Right? How do you do that? 3 things you got to develop. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a marketer, okay, number 1 is have what I call a marketer's eye. Okay, you want to have a marketer's eye. You want to have a marketer's ear. Okay, and that's going to help you develop your marketer's mind. Okay, what do I mean by that? Marketer's eye is you always look out for ideas that's outside of your niche. You look out for ideas, obviously, what's going on in your niche, okay, if it's online marketing. As you're driving the car, you see a billboard, okay? Always pay attention to ideas. Always be like, okay, here's an idea. You go to a store, you go to a mall and, you look at different banners, you look at different, advertisement, placements out there. Constantly fish for ideas that you can take and implement in your business, okay? The landing page, I'll tell you guys this, the landing page that for Money This Week funnel that you guys are all, hopefully saw that landing page came. Paul, you remember I showed you that, man? Let's talk about this for a sec. Don't give out too much details here, but you remember that picture? You're like, I created this, right? And that landing page. And you're like, dude, how did you come up with this? What did I tell you?
Yeah, man, that was the first thing that you, when you came out and you actually showed me that landing page, right? I'm like, how did you do it? Dude, it looks so good. What'd you do? And I don't know, you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, without mentioning the specific names, but talk about the idea.
Right. So you were walking through the mall.
Because if I told this, people would be like, you're making this up. But you actually saw this.
Right. You actually showed me the phone with a picture of it.
Yeah.
So you were actually walking through the mall, and at one of the stores, you actually looked at it. I'm like, that looks good. I like that. So you took out your phone and you just snapped the shot. Took a picture of it, and that's it. Without obviously not talking about the specific store, but the idea is there. And so I was, puzzled by that. I'm like, hey, that is so true. You got to be always aware of your surroundings. Always have that marketer's eye on. Yep.
Always. So if you see an idea, I mean that landing page that we created, I was literally out in the mall just walking, but always have your marketer's eye on. You see a great idea, you take a picture of it, you take a note of it, you dictate it into your phone. You always want to, capture it, right? Very important. Marketer's ear. Don't listen to information just for sake of listening to information. I like to listen to commercials as a marketer. A lot of people hate commercials. I love to listen to commercials, all right? I want to see, dude, if a company is going to spend, $30,000 or $50,000 or $300,000 on a 30-second ad, dude, what do they talk about in that 30 seconds? That's worth $300,000. You know what I mean? I don't want to fork out $300,000, but I can learn indirectly, right? It's free. It's free. It doesn't, you literally take a $300,000 idea, or if it's a Super Bowl, example, I get it. A lot of those companies go for brand recognition and things like that. But look, if somebody's spending $1 million on an ad and you can watch it for free, you just got $1 million idea potentially, okay? For free. You get it? You walk in a store, you go to the, so always be listening and always be watching for ideas as a marketer, and always filter it through, how can I implement it in my business? Number one. Number two, physical development, man, physical. And I did not I did not, do this part of I did not take care of this area for myself, for a long time. I felt it, if you don't feel good about you, okay, it's a big thing, you guys. If you don't feel good about you, if you don't like the person you see in the mirror, okay, will you feel good about what you do? Honestly, I don't think so. If you don't feel good about you, okay, do you think your prospects may have that feeling be transferred onto them? If you don't like you, why should anybody like you? You see what I'm saying? If you don't like you, do you think your prospects will like you? Do you think that energy can transfer somehow to your prospect? You bet it will. Okay? Not can it. It will. It does. And it's 100% true. So it's very, very important to take care of yourself, okay? Copy, paste, clone. Okay, I like you guys' comments here, but this is true. This is truth that a lot of people will not tell you. A lot of people will sugarcoat. Oh my goodness, you're okay. You look, dude. I did not like what I saw in the mirror. I decided to change, so I did. Okay. And it doesn't matter how busy we might be as marketers, as entrepreneurs. We've got to find the time to take care of you. To take care of you, my friend, because guess what? You are the representation of your business. If I'm representing the 4%, I want to represent an idea of a 4%er. I've got to embody what that means. If you are teaching success, if you're talking about success, you've got to embody what it looks like. Okay? And it's not just always financial. Financial is just one aspect of things, right? Huge. When I started to take care of me and working on me, okay, personally pushing myself beyond the limit in physical exercises, right? I don't know why, but I get my best ideas when when I'm pushing myself, when I'm working out, that cardio thing, and just, you get your blood pumping into your head. I mean, this is just my thing. And I think, Paul, you experience that a little bit as well. Sometimes we do some of that kind of stuff together, and as far as hitting the gym in the morning and things like that. So it's important. Okay, so when everybody's gonna say, look, just business and personal is not the same thing. I think it connects very, very well, and I think if you can connect it, okay, 3 things: developing your marketer's eye, your marketer's ear. Number 2, developing your personal, your physical self, okay? And number 3 is developing your mental capabilities, right? Developing your mental strength and mental power so you can handle any challenge, anything that may arise, any bumps in the road, you can overcome them by being mentally tough, okay? And developing that. And just like a muscle, you've got to work at it, so that you can, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And here's the thing. There's one thing I learned from one of my mentors. He said, if you have big problems, all that means is you're being a small person. Okay? If you have a big problem in life, all that really means is that you're being a small person. You've got to become bigger than your problem. And it doesn't talk about physical, it talks about mental, okay? So it's it's something to think about. I'm gonna leave you with that, okay? You guys, look, you're watching this. If you're not a 4% group member, I wanna give you an invitation to become one of us, okay? Become one of the 4% group members. We don't take anybody here. We want to make sure that we really we want to make sure that people understand what it is that we stand for, what it is that we do, what it is that we're all about. You can get more information by clicking a link or a button somewhere on this page. If you came across this interview and you're not a member of the 4%, learn more about what we do. I'll be happy to see you on the inside. And look, you're not going to do this for me. You're going to do this for yourself. What is that you really want? You know what I mean? What is it that you really, really want? Why are you here? Why do you exist? Why should anybody care? What's your purpose? Is that to take care of your family? Is that to give your family the best that they deserve? Is that to provide the best lifestyle that you deserve for yourself? Look, if somebody can have whatever it is that you want, you deserve to have that you want, And so the whole idea behind the 4% is to help people go from average to being above average, okay? And I believe it's your duty, it's your responsibility to do whatever it is in your power to rise above average. Why? Because there is enough average people in the world, man. There is enough mediocrity. You look at what's going on in the world: poverty, complexity, just things that you don't want to, like, look, in our industry here, in 4%, in the online marketing industry, right, 94% of people are making less than $100 a month, statistically. We wanted to change that, okay? That's why we've created the 4% group, and this might be one of the smartest things that you can do for yourself, for your future as an online entrepreneur, okay? Look, I look forward to seeing you inside. Check out what we have here. Click the button. I'll see you inside. Hey, Paul, man, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you jumping on here. Again, when you guys join the 4%, you'll be seeing this guy a lot. He is awesome, and he'll be taking care of you a lot along with his team. Thanks, man, for popping on here, Paul. Appreciate you.
You bet. It's been awesome.
All right, you guys, look. If you want to know more about the 4% group, what we do here, check out the link somewhere on this video or around this video. I'll see you inside. Be blessed. Stay awesome. Go after your dream. We're here to support you. We're rooting for you. We're in your corner. Let's make it happen together. Okay, so we're that was a CTA. Okay,
that's it.
That was a CTA. Here, I want to obviously we're doing this live. So what we do here, guys, is every episode of the journey. This is 8th episode. We are, obviously we're talking about great ideas. We're talking about great things. By the way, next week we're gonna have somebody who is you all probably have heard about, and he is a powerhouse in the marketing space, and he's coming on next week. Okay, you want to make sure you be here next week. 8-figure, maybe even probably 8-figure, a good multiple 8-figure income earner on the internet. So you'll hear from him next week. Here's what I want to tell you guys. Okay, quick announcement: brand new people to the 4%, welcome aboard. Okay, we have a lot of people joining every single day. Welcome, you guys. I just got a notification today, okay, from our developer that remember I told you guys about the public webinar live event, the 4% live funnel, to where we can do weekly live webinars, right? And you can invite people through your affiliate link, and we'll provide great value to the marketplace. You can invite your list, you can invite your social media here, that kind of stuff. And it's going to be a live webinar available to the public. Well, we have created that funnel, and it's done, and it's ready to be deployed, and it will be deployed first thing tomorrow morning, okay? So that means that you'll have a link, and we're going to set a time and day, like a day every week, to where we're going to have a public webinar happening like clockwork every week, okay? That you can invite people to. We're going to deliver great value. We're going to give them an opportunity to become, to get whatever it is that we're promoting. And we may not always be promoting things, but sometimes we might just do a free webinar just for the sake of doing free webinar. We might not even do a call to action. But when we do a call to action, okay, you can be certain it's going to be the one that's going to produce great outcomes for everybody, because we're going to focus on service. We're going to serve more and help out more people than anybody else in the industry, and that's how we're all going to win and make our difference in the world. Okay, you guys like that? So what we're gonna do is tomorrow morning you guys will have access to that webinar page, and we're gonna schedule a day. And it's gonna be very simple. It gives you the tracking ability for you to track, put tracking, codes and things like that, just like a funnel. And it's really, really cool, okay? Really cool stuff. So let's see. With that being said, Paul, do you have anything that you wanted to add for, maybe tell to our members here from a support perspective, what you guys are seeing out there, what, as people contacting you, what would you prefer? That, I know, here's the thing. One thing that I can probably speak on your behalf is, you guys are sending support tickets. I saw the statistics today. We're at 0.94 or 0.92 average response time for a support ticket, 30-day average. And that is something dude, this is something I can brag about, because I know there ain't other company anywhere, to my knowledge, that does this kind of stuff. Okay, this is what it means to have a 4% level support. Paul, again, thank you, man. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Talk a little bit about what you guys are seeing there in support. Is there anything that you want to talk to people or tell them? I don't even know. If this is. I think we can. This can be relevant for some people.
I mean, there's not as much. Here's one thing that I would want to tell people. If you guys can, go to Google and get yourself a software that I highly recommend to every single person who is a member of 4%. And get this software, and that is called Jing software. Vic has it, I have it. Everyone that I know, I always recommend them get it. And here's the reason why. Whenever you guys contact us with a request about tracking, a request about something isn't clicking, something isn't the way it's supposed to be, the way you see it, take that Jing software, put a little window to it, and talk to me in that window. Talk to me. Hey, Paul, I got this. Hey, I got this banner, and this banner isn't clicking. This banner, when I want to take this banner and promote it, it's not working. How do I do it? If you guys really want instant results, if you guys want results instead of going back and forth, because I know a lot of times I go back and I ask multiple other questions, get on that Jing software. That's going to, number one, that's going to make you do videos, which is awesome, which is amazing for every single one of you guys. You guys got to be good on video. Number one. Number two, that's going to provide me so much more information. I can hear your tone of voice, how you're speaking, what you're going through. I can see the details of what I need from you.
If you're angry or not, right?
I wasn't going to say that, but you pulled it out of me.
So look, what you're saying here, man, is like the more detailed you guys can be, right? The better service you will get, okay, from support, which is like we're obsessed with getting you guys the best support service, the best level service possible. Okay, like literally, not just like just get him the answer. We want to our support is amazing. I'm so pumped about our support, you guys. I'm pumped beyond being pumped. Okay, it's really cool. Okay, we want to serve you to the best. Like we want to give you the best service in the world. Okay, the best way we can do that is the quality of the answers you can get will depend on the quality of questions you ask. Okay, so sometimes in the email it's difficult to address all the points or to kind of convey the points that you want to convey. This Jing software Paul is talking about, right? If you have an issue in a setup, right? Literally, what you can do is you can do like a screen recording. Okay, and you can just hit the record button and just talk about and show with mouse cursors and clicking things and opening things right on your computer, and you say, hey, when I click here, this happens, or when I go here, this happens, and this is my challenge right here. And he can see it. You can record it, talk over it, and then you click on like export, and it gives you a link. Okay, like a link, and you just drop that link to support. You just say, hey guys, take a look. Here's a video I recorded for you. Keep it short. It forces you to keep a video of like under 5 minutes, I think, which is really cool. You can't like ramble for 2 hours, right? But you can get your point across in a very concise, very precise way with visuals. And when these guys see it, they'll be like, dude, it makes total sense. Boom, here's an answer. You get your answer in a few minutes, and it's going to be the answer that you don't have to go back and forth and clarify the answers and that kind of stuff. Make sense? Snippet, Snagit, that kind of stuff. There's screen, Snag it. I think Snag it is the updated version, right? Snag it.
For Macs. For Macs, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody post in the comments here. It's called Snag it.
Sure.
All
sure.
one word. Okay.
I love that software. Love
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
software.
Yeah. Lisa says, Jing, downloading now. Yeah.
That's it.
100K, you guys, look, you will have access to 100K. It will be posted in your back office. I look a little fresher today, right? I did a Facebook Live last night, and you know, I look like a toast, man. You know, well, guess what? I got my batteries recharged, man. Come on. So yeah, we're gonna be getting that 100K episode 3. For you guys, we'll also have 2 more landing pages being added to the Money This Week funnel. Okay, so good things are coming your way. Most likely with an update tomorrow. We're going to be pushing out an update tomorrow for you, and so that's going to be a really, really cool weekend prize for you. Okay, appreciate you guys. Be awesome. Stay awesome. Be blessed. Be a 4%er. Represent a 4%. Right? Act like a 4%er, and you will be a real 4%er, okay? Looking forward to hanging out with you guys again next time. Stay connected, okay? And we'll talk to you next time when we talk to you. Appreciate it. God bless. See you guys.